What's up? It's your girl LA, and I am here to share story time as well as do like a mukbang. I have nachos that I have. Actually, my daughter Zariah cooked the meat and stuff last night. I'm just eating the leftovers, so I'm using the spicy nachos and the flaming hot Dorito together, mixed together with jalapeno peppers, tomato, cheese, sour cream. I usually like to make homemade guacamole. I didn't make it this time. But anyway, it's about to be story time, so rock out with your girl. Yesterday I celebrated my birthday. So I'm going to make myself more active on sharing more stories with you guys. And I was actually getting myself prepared to do like some motivational speaking because I have been requested to go be a motivational speaker at a church. So I've been practicing. So I said, why not make a vlog? I need to get more active anyway. So I am going to share with you guys how I became a foster child at the age of 14. So when I was 14 years old, my mom was a single parent. She was raising me and my youngest sister at the time. And we lived on the east side of Indianapolis on 10th Street. We had a really nice house. We had a brand new house. It was really, actually the house was remodeled. We had a really nice house. And my mom worked like a modest job, but I'm gonna be honest, she was on government assistance. She did have Section 8, so we had a really nice house. Excuse me. That's good, y'all. That's good. So we had a nice house anyway. My mom would work jobs, you know, but she was having a hard time with finding a permanent position. So she would go to like a labor ready or like a temp to hire type of company. So we had got, money had got really low and my mother's lights got turned off. So she had a friend that lived near. She was her best friend. Her name is Miss Valerie. Rest her soul. We shared the same birthday. And her daughter ended up getting married on her birthday as well. One of her daughters, her youngest daughter. So anyway, I'll share more about that later. So we went to go stay with her until my mother was able to get the lights back on. She was going to work at the little temp until she got her check because the labor ready basically paid you by the day. So, paid you by the day. And she was just going to, you know, do enough until she was able to get the lights turned back on. So, my high school, I was a walker. And going to my mother's friend's house actually made it closer for me to get to school. But, you know what? My mother was driving at the time, so she dropped me off in the mornings. And then she would head out to go get work. One particular day, I go back to my mom's friend's house because my mother didn't pick me up from school. So I walked to my mom's friend's house. And I'm like, have you seen my mother? And she was like, she said she was going to get work. I haven't talked to her, heard from her. Now, we didn't have no social media back then, so it was no way for her really to know. They didn't have cell phones. It was like pagers probably. So anyway, we just waited around. She had 3 kids. No, she had 4 kids. She had 3 teenage daughters, 1 teenage son, and then she had adopted a son. So it was actually 5 kids in total. And I was good friends with her daughters. So I was pretty much cool with sitting there with them, you know. And plus, we used to always have fun. Those was my girls. I'm actually still connected with one of them. Shout out to Alicia Travis. That's my girl. But anyway, so I'm waiting, we chilling or whatever. And my mother never showed up. And she was like, this is not your mom. She'll never just leave and not call or anything. I said, right. So she was like, we'll wait it out. So I got up. She still didn't come. She told me to wash the clothes I had on to wear to school the next day or whatever. And I did that. Went to school. And my mother still wasn't there. So she came later in her car basically telling her friend that she had got into some trouble. She had to go to court. And she was going back to court the next day to see what they was going to do. They had took my sister temporarily and placed her in the Children's Guardians Home. The Children's Guardians Home was like an orphanage in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where they housed a lot of kids that got taken away from their families until they got foster parents to get them. And once the foster parent was found, then they would pick them up from there. So anyway, we were like, okay, so I went to school the next day. And my mother didn't come back. she didn't show up that day. And so my mother friend was like, dang, I don't know why this is the second time. She's like, well, go to your house, see if your mama's there. Because I know you ain't got no lights over there. If she's not there, get some clothes so you can continue to go to school from here. So she had her second oldest daughter walk with me. Shout out to Quita. I haven't seen her talk to you, but I do talk to her sister. So anyway, we walked there. I get the clothes. My mom was not there. I come back. She still didn't show. She was like, well, just go ahead and, go to sleep. We're going to get you ready. And she started, we was just talking. And so she was sick at the time. She actually was battling, I think she had like a cirrhosis of the liver from drinking. And she was really sick. This woman was a strong woman. So anyway, went to school. I was in ROTC. So if y'all don't know what ROTC is, kind of like a little military thing, kind of prep you for if you want to go. So you have the actual uniform and everything. So I liked it. I thought it was dope. And my mom used to tell me about it when she was in it, when she was young. So I'm like, when I get in high school, I'm going to do the same thing. So I was kind of like going under her, but I liked it though. And I thought that I was going to go to the military. So anyway, I went this particular day and was getting smart with my lieutenant. And he was like, you're not going to disrespect me. You go to the office. I went to the office. The dean was in there with another student. He was like, I'm not going to talk to you. You know you don't get in trouble. You don't belong in here. Go sit out there with the rest of the kids. When the bell rings, go home. So I'm sitting. The police walks in and was like, hey, I'm looking for the student by such and such name. And the receptionist was like, is it a student in here name? Blah, 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 blah. So everybody looking. And some people knew me looking like that shit. I'm like, I'm like, what did I do? I didn't do nothing that serious where he had to call the police. Come on. So at first I was like, I'm about to ride this thing out because he don't even know what I look like. So I could get out of here and just go to my mother's friend's house. But something said, no, you need to say something. So I go, that's me. He was like, I need you to step in the hallway. I'm like, what did I do for me to have to step in the hallway? He's like, step in the hallway. So I stepped in the hallway. It was a Caucasian woman. She greeted me and said, hey, hey, Latoya, I am from Child Services. Your mother went to court today and she has lost temporary custody of you. You have to go with me. I'm taking you to the children's guardian's home. I said, no. I said, where's my mother? She said, she's in jail. I said, I'm not going with you. She was like, you have to. It's been ordered by the judge. So the police said, if you try to run, I will have to take you to juvenile. I'm like, I'm not going to juvenile. I'm going with this lady. I'm going to act like it. And when I get in the car, I'm getting out of that car. So I goes with her. And, I already had a plot in my head. I was going to run away from this lady. Because my mother friend lived right up the street. I thought I was going to run there. We don't think as kids. That would have been really stupid. But she didn't know where my mother friend lived. So I could have ran and been okay. But I would have been skipping school. But I wasn't no type of kid to skip school. Kids don't ever skip school. Go where you need to go. It's for safety reasons. So I get in the car and I kept my hand on her door handle, and she seen it, and she was like, I'm letting you know, if you try to get out of this car or run, you will go to jail. You're going to go to juvenile. I said, she was like, plus your sister is there. We have your little sister. Don't you want to see her? I'm like, lady, I want to see my mama. We can get her later. So I get to the children's guardian's home, and I'm just around all these people I don't want to be around. So how they had it, ages 12 through 14 stayed in a dorm. And it was like an orphanage. If you ever seen Annie, how the beds are laid across in rows on left to the right. That's how I was there. And it was all twin size mattresses. And then if you was 15 through 17, you went across the hall. Well, I would say like you went into a dorm, and that was ages 15 through 17. And they had bunk beds. You know that story Tiffany had shared? That was me. I didn't get the bunk bed though. So I don't be like, I hate bunk beds, but I did have a problem with it later. So I didn't get to get there, but I was in a room with all these girls, and everybody had different backgrounds, different problems. And guess what? At the age of 14, I was trying to inspire them and help these girls, encourage them. So anyway, later on, they told me that I would be able to go see my sister. Now, my sister, because she was 7, they had a area for like infants and younger children on the opposite side of the building. So what it pretty much was is a school that was abandoned. The government had opened it up and housed it for foster children. They closed it. I wish it was still open. I want to open it up because these kids really need a place like that. But anyway, they had them on the opposite side. So she was on the opposite quarters of where I was at. And they told me that I would be able to see her later on that evening. So it was dinner time. And we go down, and I so happened to see my sister. She was leaving out, and she just got excited, like, that's my sister. It's my sister, Toya. Toya's in the building. And so I'm like, yes, it's me. It's my, you know. But I'm like, no, it's me. I'm like, hey, sister. So we hugged each other, and they kind of let me walk her out a little bit. And they was like, well, you got to go back. You can go see her after you eat. So I'm like, okay. So I eat my food. I'm chopping it up with the other girls. Hey, let me tell y'all, that Gordian's home food was banging, though. They was cooking up some good food in there. So the food was good. I left. I went to go see my sister and seeing how she was like sleeping or whatever, and talked to her. She was happy, and she was just like, I want to go home. I'm like, I want to go home too, but we gotta wait to see what's gonna happen. And that was that. So I goes back to the other side of where I'm supposed to be. And like I said, I had bonded with these girls, but the girls that was like older teenagers, I did have an issue with one of them.